All they had to do was shut up and do nothing. And Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were probably going to get their best news cycle in years, because we know deep down they want to bring down the British royal family.
And Harry and Meghan going to another country, pretending like they're royals when they're not. And they're doing it literally like days after Prince Andrew, ex-Prince Andrew, was arrested, because they want to just really cause that stress in the royal family.
The World Health Organization, the government of Jordan, and others are making hearings enormously appreciated. So thank you for coming. Why is a British ambassador welcoming them on a visit when Meghan Markle has trashed everything, and Harry, about the British government?
Harry and Meghan are back at it again, being disaster tourists, because apparently they have nothing better to do than waste government time and resources, in this case for the country of Jordan, and the WHO and UN's time.
Why are these two going? How much does it cost for these two to go? And why do they keep allowing this to happen? I don't get it. Now, as you'll remember, they did, similar visits to Nigeria, Colombia. They love these faux royal tours to go out there to make it seem like they're, royals, when we all know they're not.
She always knows where the camera is, doesn't she? Everybody's listening to this lady, Prince Harry, everybody. Meghan's eyes directly to the camera. And, but that smile, there's nothing to smile about. It is incredibly creepy.
And she is now living in denial. She thinks she can somehow pick up the pieces of her shattered life and resume what she used to do, which was, ligging money off people, coming up with rubbish projects, borrowing money, being paid for, and just generally jet setting around the world freeloading. Well, nobody wants to know her anymore.
Why to visit Palestinian refugees, which we are not to take as any sort of reflection on their political ideologies, even though obviously visiting Gaza refugees does have a bit of a potential political ramification, especially when we know that Meghan is diehard liberal. So she is probably anti-Israel, maybe, I don't know.
Harry and Meghan are back in the headlines with another overseas appearance. One that, to critics, looks less like service and more like a performance timed to maximize pressure on the royal family. The argument is simple. Instead of keeping a low profile, they keep inserting themselves into international moments in ways that create noise, controversy, and attention.
Charles and Camilla were out at St. James's Palace yesterday, delivering awards. And of course, Charles, not looking well at all. Now, I'm going to get into just a moment why Harry and Meghan claim, they're not taking sides in the whole Israel-Palestine thing. Bullshit.
Especially when the monarchy is already under strain. The bigger question isn't just why they went. It's why officials keep making space for them. The narration frames these trips as faux royal tours, designed to recreate the optics of official duty after stepping away from it. And when the destination includes politically sensitive contexts, like refugee visits, any photo op can read as a statement, whether they claim it is or not. The story then sharpens around one absence. If this trip truly mattered on a royal level, why wasn't there even a brief acknowledgement from Jordan's most visible royal figure? That silence, the narrator suggests, is the point.
Announced yesterday was this surprise trip to Jordan in partnership with the World Health Organization. Now, 1 week right after the arrest of Harry's uncle, ex-Prince Andrew, they are traveling to Jordan for this humanitarian visit to focus on global health and mental health support. Of course, these two morons apparently are helping the mental health of refugees. But yeah, they're there today. We have some reports on what they've been doing today, as well as they'll be there tomorrow, February 26th. The royal family has been informed of the trip, of course, because they got to just poke them as much as they can, which comes 1 week after ex-Prince Andrew's arrest, and is being undertaken as a humanitarian visit in partnership with, as I said, the World Health Organization.
And by the end, it will matter a lot. Here's the setup. A tightly scheduled, heavily photographed 2-day visit in Amman organized alongside the World Health Organization. Refugee camps, hospital stops, roundtables, serious backdrops, and high-visibility images. The narration emphasizes the careful wording around it, calling it a visit, not a tour, because a tour implies official royal authority they no longer hold. But despite that, the visuals still resemble state-level treatment.
These two grifters and fake have decided this is the moment to embark on a new fake royal tour, this time of the Middle East, where she's literally trying to claim she's the queen of the desert in Jordan.
Motorcades, security, conference seating, and formal receptions. Then comes the key contextual twist. Jordan isn't random. It carries deep personal meaning for Catherine, Princess of Wales, making the choice of location feel, in this telling, more calculated than charitable. Jordan's royal connections to the British monarchy are long-standing, especially through William and Catherine, so the narration argues that this stop lands differently than a typical humanitarian trip.
I've got so much to say about this, by the way, because Jordan, I'm sure you know, is also one of the happy places for Prince William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, where she grew up. And Meghan is just cosplaying Diana here in a cringe and creepy way. The clear sort of messaging coming from Montecito is, we're the future. We're now going to be the real royals. But actually, all of us are looking at this like, what the hell? You have just involved yourself in the biggest geopolitical dispute in the world, which you know divides everyone, and you're doing it without a second thought.
Then the tell arrives. Jordan's king and queen do not meet them. No palace moment, no official greeting, no prestige photo, nothing. The narrator frames this not as scheduling, but as strategy. In royal circles, meetings like that happen when they're wanted. The implication is that Meghan especially needed the image of standing beside real royalty in a place tied to William and Catherine, and Jordan's royal household refused to provide it.
Harry and Meghan were going to do a 2-day visit to Jordan. Why? To visit Palestinian refugees, which we are not to take as any sort of reflection on their political ideologies, even though obviously visiting Gaza refugees does have a bit of a potential political ramification, especially when we know that Meghan is diehard liberal. So she is probably anti-Israel, maybe. I don't know. But it's a distinct possibility. And when this news came out, I'm like, right, of course. You know, Prince William was just in Saudi Arabia a couple of weeks ago, and Harry and Meghan managed to arrange a Middle East visit themselves right after.
From there, the narration pivots into pattern recognition. The trip's most viral moments are portrayed as staged echoes of established royal imagery, hospital bedside tenderness, carefully positioned hand-holding, and youth center sports footage that invites direct comparisons to Catherine's past engagements. The voiceover argues this isn't coincidence, it's brand mimicry. The more closely the imagery tries to resemble iconic royal service visuals.
Meghan Markle couldn't even pass the foreign officer's exams test. And it's highly doubtful that she actually graduated from university because her picture at the Northwestern yearbook is not even there, in spite of the fact that they gave the students almost 2.5 weeks to schedule a time to get the picture taken. Allegedly, she's been very, very angry that the focus is on Prince Harry and not on her, in spite of her best effort.
The more it invites viewers to judge the authenticity. And in the narrator's view, that comparison is exactly where the attempt backfires. Then comes the flashpoint. The British ambassador to Jordan greets Harry and Meghan publicly on arrival. The narration frames this as a serious optics problem, because even a short, official-looking welcome can be interpreted as institutional endorsement, whether or not that was the intent. The voiceover sets up how a single moment of protocol can be amplified into a political signal.
Go through what has happened so far since they touched down in Jordan and visited a specialty hospital in Amman, where Meghan, very much in Diana wannabe mode, held hands with a 14-year-old Gaza refugee burns victim and talked to doctors. They also watched a music class at the Quest Scope Youth Centre at the Zatari refugee camp near Mafraq and took part in a football discussion. Then things get really bad because they're teaming up with Dr. Tedros. Now, Dr. Tedros, bloke who ran the World Health Organization during COVID, one of the worst people in the world, okay? Like, this is not the win that Prince Harry and Meghan think it is, but we'll get into that in a moment. First, let's just watch day one of Meghan pretending to be Princess Diana and Prince Harry thinking he's the one to save the royal family on this fake royal tour.
After the greeting, the narration widens into the uncomfortable reality of titles and access. As long as Harry retains a royal title, doors will continue to open. Embassies will host, organizations will seat them, and officials will treat them with inherited credibility. The voiceover suggests this is exactly why the situation keeps repeating, and why the refusal to formally sever titles keeps creating confusion. It then shifts into a more personal framings. The narrator portrays Harry as diminished and visibly worn.
Beyond that, of course, it's just a lot of photo ops is ultimately what these appearances truly are. They get paid to go out and do photo ops and show that they're important when they're not. And Meghan Markle was snapped taking a penalty shot of football during a youth center visit in Jordan. Look at her getting down and dirty, kicking that ball. You go, girl. Oh, wait, I feel like we've seen this before. That's right. That's right. That's what Catherine was doing back in 2022. But anyway, their visit to Questscope Youth Center, this refugee camp, Meghan was snapped blasting a penalty past a young goalkeeper in the back of the net. She was laughing and smiling along the child refugees, many of whom have been displaced Syrians, delighted with the victory over her husband. She's taking a leaf out of Princess Kate's book, who's an actual princess, mind you.
Arguing that his public compassion messaging clashes with the damage he's accused of causing privately, especially toward family. The narration turns reflective and harshly existential about Harry's arc, walking away from an extraordinary platform, calling it toxic, insisting he needed freedom, and then ending up in stage photo moments that feel smaller than what he left behind.
But actually, Tash, what I was going to say is that I still really sense a deep unhappiness when I see Harry in a lot of these pictures, you know.
The voiceover paints him as emotionally drained in candid frames, performing when required, but looking haunted when he forgets the cameras are there. The core claim is that the images tell a story of regret, exhaustion, and a man who doesn't look like he understands how he got here. The final stretch reframes the trip as part of a larger crisis narrative.
And the fact that they have had to rely on him to make this visit happen says a huge amount. Now, in their briefing to the mainstream media, which we'll get to shortly, Harry and Meghan insisted that they had informed Buckingham Palace of their visit. Oh, big hug from Dr. Tedros. God, these two are completely delusional. They have no idea what they're doing here. They have no idea that Dr. Tedros would have to be so desperate to want them there.
A visibly struggling King Charles, compounded royal scandals, and a monarchy trying to project stability while two non-working royals keep generating global optics that blur the lines of authority. The voiceover argues that silence and inaction effectively extend the runway for these royal-adjacent appearances.
Ask Thomas Markle, ask Prince William, ask Queen Camilla, ask King Charles. It's laughable. They are delusional. There's no matching up. There's no connection, Tash, between their personal lives and what they see as their professional lives.
No, I mean, it's almost like they live in an alternate reality. They're famous, they're infamous for the destruction that they caused to the royal family, the biggest destruction, I guess, that happened, or at least tried to happen to them since the abdication. And we know that the problem was that they lied. So much of what they did was lies, and so much of what they did had monetary gain out of it. They did it for financial reasons.
Because titles still carry institutional weight. The closing thesis returns to Jordan. Queen Rania's refusal to meet Meghan is presented as a deliberate act of loyalty and boundary setting, an example, the narrator implies, of how the situation should be handled before it forces a bigger reckoning.